Hello my friends and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to talk about the MOZA R3. The wheelbase itself is probably one of the most compact wheelbases I have ever seen, and when I pulled it out of the box I was genuinely amazed at its dimensions. As most of the times it is an entirely black box with the MOZA logos engraved on it. MOZA uses aluminum for the casing and the design is very neutral and modern. Connection happens via a USB-B to USB-A connection on the PC or Xbox. Peripheral-wise, 5 extra peripherals can be connected to the wheelbase via various RJ connectors. The wheelbase itself is powered by a 60-watt PSU brick. Attachment happens with 4 bolts directly to the rig or via the included desk clamp. The front features the familiar MOZA quick release system. The steering wheel measures approximately 28 cm and is D-shaped. It features 22 buttons and a very impressive rev counter on the top. The frame is made out of aluminium and the coating of the rim itself is made out of polyurethane. On the back there is the quick release and the shifters. The shifters are made out of metal and work with a spring mechanism. They measure 11 cm in length and give a satisfying click when pressed. The buttons on the steering wheel are made of plastic, printed and clear coated. The clear coat looks nice and will help preserve the print over time. The quality of the buttons are the same as can be found on the console controllers. They hardly make any noise when pressing them. The pedals are made entirely out of steel, including the pedal faces. The standard set consists out of an accelerator and brake. They are modular and have a large degree of configurability for position. The pedal faces themselves can also be moved approximately 2 cm up or down. Connection happens via an RJ cable towards the wheelbase. Unfortunately, out of the box they cannot be directly connected via USB to a PC. When it comes to technology, MOZA included the 3.9 Nm strong servo motor in their R3, which can be compared about with the Thrustmaster T300 wheelbase. Of course, there is a difference. The R3 is a direct drive, while the Thrustmaster is still a dual belt system. Also, what is included is the famous quick release system. Works very well. Wheel is very fixed. I don't see any issues with that coming up. So really good technology wise, the quick release of MOZA. A last thing that I want to say about the technology is that the pedals use Hall sensors to capture your inputs of acceleration and the braking. The Pithouse software of MOZA is a really good piece of software. I said it also already in the past with the R5, with the R9. Very good software, very clean design, very nice layout, very user-friendly. And what I liked most about, or what I like a lot about this software, is that it comes with some presets for the different vehicles or the different types of vehicles that you can drive in. So that's very nice that they added it. It makes it easier for starters to get already decent settings pre-configured without having to look on internet themselves or just try it out themselves. So very decent that they added it. The MOZA R3 is the weakest direct drive wheelbase that has been released on the market currently. With 3.9 Nm, it is about 1 Nm less than Fanatec CSL DD5, which is the second least performing, second least heavy one. So you might wonder, is this good enough to drive, to do a simming? When we look at ACC, what is important here is that you feel the details in the road, that you have that you feel the curbs, that you feel your wheel slipping, and it all does that. Like here, for example, I have a lot of detail in the road, which I should, but here at this part you see where it falls short. Here I should have an intensifying force feedback, the force feedback building up, and this is not the case. It is also very easy to turn. This part also, you have lateral force coming and the details in the road, and if you want also a bit of curbs, and it just can't handle the complexity of it all. It feels a little, I would say underpowered, but also all the details. I know that all the details are there, so it just makes a mix of them all at the same top, which is a bit less. The same here in the long straight. Here you have the track which goes down, and the R3 really struggles with making you feel the depth here. Here the other wheelbases, they rumble really hard, make you really feel it, but the R3 just doesn't have the power to do so. So yes, it has a detail, but I do think that for people that are more experienced already with sim racing, that had a Thrustmaster T300s or Logitech G29, that this is not really the right step up. When it comes to the pedals, I think they are basic, but I do think they really do the job. They feel a bit the same, but I don't feel a lot of difference between the accelerator and the brake, but they work well. I have no issues with them. I think they are one of the best basic pedals that there are at this moment. But it will also be one of the first thing that you need to upgrade, I think. Some load cell pedals with a brake which you can configure a bit for stiffness. Yeah, it really needs that. But look, to get started, it does its job. The steering wheel also, I'm driving with my gloves on now, but the steering wheel, it feels plastic. You can feel it is like hard plastic. It says rubber on the side, but for me this is plastic. But it's not the kind of plastic that Thrustmaster uses. So the steering wheel, while it is just plastic, it's still okay to the touch and to drive with. Gives me also enough grip with the gloves on. So really, I don't have that much issues with it. The shifters also not magnetic, but nice big shifters, and well, they click easily. Also, you don't have misshifts or anything. So really, I wouldn't say it's top quality, but it's really enough to start with. So yeah, basically for my driving experience in ACC, details good, but the force, well, it could have used a bit more. Compatibility for the R3 is PC, of course, and Xbox. It was the first package that was brought out by MOZA, which was compatible with the Xbox platform. Now, the compatibility doesn't reside in the wheelbase itself, but resides in the steering wheel. So if you take the steering wheel of the R3 package and you put it on an R5 base, it will also work without any issue. Unfortunately, there is still no compatibility with the PlayStation platform, for this or any other MOZA wheelbases out there. When it comes to the ecosystem, I will give you a very personal opinion. For me, the MOZA ecosystem is the best ecosystem out there. It has a large variety of steering wheels, cheaper ones, a bit more expensive ones, but what is really important with them is that they include other peripherals also. You have start with the stocks, the stocks that you can use. They have the little display that you can use, have a shifter, have a handbrake. So there is really a lot that you can use in the ecosystem of MOZA for the R3. Now, be careful, because when it comes to the pedals, you can only connect directly to the wheelbase, the pedals, to use it on the Xbox platform. So you can't just use the more expensive the CRP pedals. You can't really use them with the MOZA R3 on Xbox. Of course, on PC it is different because you plug in USB directly. And another thing that I would say, that the most fun steering wheel that MOZA has, being the trucking wheel, the TS trucking wheel, don't put it on an R3 because that's it is just underpowered for it. You need a minimum MOZA R5 and preferably a MOZA R9. So unfortunately, there is you can't use the trucking wheel on the R3. But for upgradability, well, you can just upgrade the wheelbase to an R5 or an R9, or you can upgrade the steering wheel. You can put on another steering wheel. And for the pedals, well, there is also a clutch available and a performance kit that you can use to make these pedals better. So really a very, very well thought through ecosystem of MOZA. Non-issues, well, this is always a bit difficult. From what I have found, I found that there were some issues with a disconnecting wheelbase. Now, is it only on Xbox? Is it on PC? That was not clear. Is it resolved by a faulty USB cable? I have no idea, but it struck me that there were quite a lot of disconnecting issues with the MOZA R3. Is it a structural problem? I don't know. I have to always be very careful when I say things like that. I didn't notice it on the R3 that I have. I just read it, but I just want to give it also to you that it is something. Perhaps have a look at it yourself if you want to buy the R3, if it would be an issue for you or not. Pricing and availability, well, you can buy a MOZA R3 for €400 in the MOZA webshop, or $359. So it is very cheap. If we look at the Fanatec CSL DD5 for Xbox, so the cheapest bundle that you can have now, comes in at €500 with an Xbox steering wheel, of course, with the CSL DD to make it compatible. So that is €100 more. But of course, you still need to count for taxes and stuff like that, import tax and shipment, so that the price can go up. But I have seen for €400, it is also available at retailers locally here in Belgium. They also released a PC-only version of the R3, which comes in at €329. So that's very, very, very sharp prices that they have. Conclusion is, well, I talked a lot about it lacking some power in the driving experience, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything, because if I look at it for this price, it is really a good wheelbase and a good package. Even the wheelbase itself, it generates enough power, it has very good details, it is fluent. The steering wheel, it doesn't feel overly cheap like some Trustmaster steering wheels do. The pedals also, they're not the top, but they are a really decent package. So in general, I think that really for this price, the R3 is a very good package to buy. If you buy this as your first steering wheel, you will have a fine image of what force feedback can do to simulated driving. Our community has come a really long way already over the last few years. There is a lot of competition going on, and MOZA is not afraid to blend itself in with the big boys with its R3 in the quest for affordable but quality simulated driving, even on console. This is exactly what Fanatec needs to stay on their toes, what Camus needs as a motivation to break into the console market, what Trustmaster needs to incorporate some more plastic in their products, and what hopefully makes Logitech retire gear-driven wheelbases. If you would like to know more about the MOZA R3, I will do a follow-up versus video of it in the upcoming weeks. Thank you all for watching. I hope you had something from this video. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more videos. If you buy new hardware, use an affiliate link, and I will see you all next video. Bye bye.